Welcome back to the BVarsity Live Super Show. We got another one of our favorites in here for the 3:15 segment. That'd be Erich Smith of Golden Valley. Erich, how are you, man?
I'm doing great.
Good to see you here. And this is
right on that mic, Eric, if you don't mind.
This is year
Make it your
9
friend.
for you?
Yeah, it is year 9,
Year
actually.
9.
I was trying to figure that out.
Almost a decade at Golden Valley. Did you go in expecting to be there? I mean, you really are the face of Golden Valley football now. I mean, that's more than half the school's history if you look at it.
Well, I got blessed. I was able to come in under a great coach, Coach Harnett, who did many years at BHS, and he made football a lot of fun as a coach to work for. And he really got me enlightened. And when, he decided to kind of move on, and I said, you know what, I'll take a chance. And I missed my years working with Coach Harnett. We had so much fun together. It was just awesome.
Tim Hartnett is a very good guy, and you have had a lot of success there yourself. And, this year I think, I don't know, expectations never really change. You always want to be competitive. You always want to be right there in the end of the year. This year, probably the guy you have to hang your hat on first and foremost be Tyler Waters, your quarterback, who's a returner third-year starter now, right?
Correct.
How is Tyler doing in his third camp as the starter?
He's doing well. We actually we were able to get a quarterbacks coach in full-time, and he's actually one of our old players that played with Coach Harnett. And so he knows our system inside out, and he's really been working with Tyler on changing his footsteps.
Okay.
So we're trying to get our timing down a little bit better for him and quicken up the release, because I think at the next level that's really what he's going to need to do.
Man, he's certainly big enough to go to the next level. We talk about this guy's, 6'2"?
He's about 6'2 and a half, 247.
6'2", yeah,
so.
I mean, we're talking about a big guy for a quarterback. Real good numbers, though. I'm looking at him. 61% completion, very good for the high school level, 1,574 yards, 12 TDs, only 2 picks. He sort of knows how to pick his spots and take those shots, doesn't he?
Yes, and he takes a lot of pride in not turning the ball over. That's number one. And he kind of takes a defensive mentality to the quarterback position where he likes to run the ball. And so we're able to get quite a few yards with him when the time comes to it, and he'll keep the ball on some of the reads that we do. And other times, but he is looking forward to throwing the ball down the field. That's kind of what he really would like to do. But at the same time, he'll keep it when he wants to.
And the nice thing about him, too, is that he keeps the ball in his hands on fourth down, too, as your punter. And so, there's opportunities where you're like 4th and 5, and you look at that defense, they don't know if you're just going to punt or throw the ball, right?
Yeah, and actually, I think talking to my special teams coordinator, he almost was close to a 50-yard average on his kicks.
Yeah.
And he gets a heck of a roll.
I think he was our all-area punter, actually.
We run kind of that rugby kick, when he'll take it to slide, and I'll be honest, there's no finesse to it. He just puts his big old foot into it and lets it go.
But seriously, I mean, are there times when you tell him, go look at the defense? If you see can he audible on those punt calls and say, I see something, I think I can complete a pass here and get you 4 yards? I mean, obviously there's going to be times you say, no, we have to punt. But are there times when he has that option too?
It actually turns out, I talked to him a lot, and we spent a lot of time together, and I said, how are you kicking the ball so far? He goes, Coach, I'm actually so mad that I'm 3 and out and I have to kick the ball. And he goes, I am so angry. That's why I just kick.
So maybe you don't want to give him the option because he'll always choose to pass them. No, but he ran for 534 yards last year, 5.9 yards per carry and 8 scores. So he obviously had the running game too. Elsewhere in the running back, Andrew Dean, now he got hurt last year. Is that right?
Tore his ACL.
Yeah. And so you had to sort of replace him earlier than you would have otherwise, which this year now is a good thing. Is the guy Tyus Thompson still who will replace him?
Yeah, he's
Tyler Thompson.
Tyler Thompson, he's stepping in right at the starting role. And he's had a phenomenal offseason, running track, lifting weights. And he just absolutely looks a step quicker. He understands it now. He said, I've been through it, and we're looking for great things from him. Everybody that's seen him run this summer, passing tournaments and things like that, he's a shining star for us on the field, and that'll really complement Tyler in the backfield.
Yeah. And Tyler also loses his number 1 target, Ja'Kai Harrell, from last year. Who steps in there?
We got a couple guys. We got a couple young guys. We got a kid named Jordan Brownin. We got a guy, Sal Simontel. They're all juniors. But these guys put the time in. They work hard. They spend a lot of hours on the jugs machine whenever they can. They'll train on their own. They do everything they can with their hands. So we're kind of playing musical chairs to wide receivers right now, and that'll get worked out. But we think we're going to be okay. We also have another sophomore who's a part-time tailback we can motion out to slot receiver, Davion. And Davion is looking at, he's really adjusting to route running and carrying the ball, and he has a great mentor in Tyler Thompson. A lot of people don't realize, too. He's also our GPA leader on our team. He's just a fine young man.
Yeah, very good. Offensive line, inexperience there a little bit?
We actually have 2. We have one kind of part-time coming back, and we have a returning all-league guy coming back.
Okay.
Ricardo Jamarillo, he's very good, and he's one of our strongest guys on the team. And we're actually moving him. He'll probably be playing a little bit more left tackle.
Yeah, you caught me
or
red-handed.
right tackle.
I thought he was a senior. He's coming back. So
Yeah, he's
that's
actually
a good deal.
junior.
Yeah.
And then the rest of them, they're young. They'll be freshmen. Or not freshmen. They'll be soft. We have one sophomore actually stepping up, but his numbers in the weight room were well enough, and he's really adapted well so far.
Is that Fernando Medina?
Yes. Yeah, Fernando's done an excellent job. And then we have Tadash Kim. He'll be stepping in. And so we're pretty excited about the old line because we're really trying to pick our guys. We're kind of two platoon in that area if we can, so that we can make changes on the sideline. And we're really excited. We kind of moved the D end. We have to let him play both ways a little bit. But his name is Norris Kemp, and this is a kid I'd look for. He's about 6'3", 265. He's a junior, and he's going to be something special in the future.
Good deal. That's a good size, too. And
yeah.
Now, one of the things I like about you, Eric, is you'll tell it like it is. Not that you've ever badmouthed a team to me, but if you don't like a team, you just won't say you like them. Let's say that. But you said you like this team. This is a younger team, but it's a team. The guys buy into it. The guys get it. They're fun to be around. How important is that in terms of success on the field?
Well, I think it's important. I think it's important for your coaching staff, your overall morale, the morale of the program. We're hit with all these limitations now of hours that you can practice. These guys, you have to tell them to go home. Mm-hmm. And that's something special. When you have to tell guys, hey, you have to go. We're done. And I think that's something in today's day and age where everything is so instantaneous with social media and everything else and video games, and you just hit reset. Well, Friday night, there's not a reset. You miss that 4th and 1, your defense goes on. So I think for these kids to have that mentality, it's a lot of fun to work with them, and that's what, the older I get, that's what I really enjoy.
Handicap the league for me a little bit. I know Ridgeview is everybody's favorite, and rightfully so after what they did last year, winning a section title, nearly making it to a state championship game, which the team that beat them ended up winning. But other than that, it's kind of hard to pick the league because you've had teams and coaches that have had past success everywhere you look.
Correct. And I think you need to look at the dean of coaches. You got to look at Coach Denman on top of the hill. He's always going to have competitive teams. Mm-hmm. He's going to come down. They're going to play solid football. Independence has a coaching chain. They usually have a few athletes on their sideline. So, they can battle. And you never know what West High has. And I'll be honest, I think Coach Fanucchi over at East High, he's going to bring something different for year 2. So the longer he stays, he'll get that program going. So it is kind of a toss-up. And, Ridgeview, they've been there, they've done it, they've had experience in the state game. That's huge for them.
Yeah. Let's take a look at Golden Valley's schedule, and we can kind of look at how this sets up for the Bulldogs. You open up with a game that you've opened up with this game for 4 or 6 years now with Taft High, and it's been a pretty good rivalry. There's been a lot of good games in that series.
Yeah, they've come down to, I think, the last 2 at 1 point. Now, I know there's a coaching change out there, too, so that'll be brand new for us. And then we kind of move on from there. And then Miramonte, Highland, we're stepping up. We play in Frontier for the second year. We like to have a kind of Division I schedule to kind of rank, see where we're at. Mm-hmm. And Cornford always gives us a good matchup. And we were able to fix a lot of things last year from that game before we got to league. So that really helps us because obviously you're playing talent like Ridgeview. I think they could play at almost any level they want.
Yeah, and that first 3-week stretch in league there, Ridgeview, Independence, Tehachapi, 2 of them on the road, almost defines your season. Can we be a league champion, or are we just going to be 6-4, whatever we can be?
Correct. And then you're in survival mode to get to the playoffs.
Sure.
The number one goal is always try to get to the playoffs, and we set that bar high every year. But like Coach Cole said earlier, they call it the process. We call it the journey. You got to enjoy the journey going through. It's a long season. A lot of things happen, and you got to stay abreast of it, and you got to keep pushing to get better every day.
Where do you guys fit into this? Golden Valley strikes me, you're kind of that chip on your shoulder team. You want to be the perennial underdog, and you embrace that identity. Am I right in saying that, or is that off base?
No, I think it kind of just gets labeled that way. I think a lot of kids, a lot of our kids maybe don't get the notoriety that other kids get. I think the more we talk to our team about building consistency. Everybody pays attention to a lot of things, a lot of the rankings. I said, guys, you got to build consistency. If you can build consistency, then things will come around. And we talk about the successful programs, everything from, Northern California's De La Salle to, Long Beach Poly over the years. And then we have great teams in town that our guys get to play against on, Wednesday night passing league, which is a lot of fun. So we talk about trying to build consistency, and I think that's the main goal that we need to do as an overall program.
And you certainly have done that, and I'm looking for it here, and I can't find the year by year, but it seems like every year you're between 5 and 8 wins.
Yeah.
You've won a couple of league titles in the up years, and then you've had a couple of 4 and 6 seasons maybe in the down years, but you've been right there, and I think that's something to be proud of.
Yeah, and I have a great staff. I got Luis Cervantes has been with me for the whole time, and Nate Odell has been with me for the whole time. These guys are close to me. They're my best friends, and so that kind of really makes a coaching staff a lot easier. When you have guys that I can delegate, I can delegate things out. It makes it so much easier, and you can spend more time. I'm still the offensive coordinator. I still enjoy breaking down film. I want to be able to do that, and so I do delegate other things like inputting huddle or stats and stuff, and those guys take care of it. And I've had my core of my varsity staff has been solid, and I think that transfers, and it really helps the kids. The kids know who they have. They know who's on campus. They know they can go get help at lunch or whatever they need. I think that plays a big role.
Yeah, and I finally found that here. So you start 4-8, then you're 6-5, 3-8, and then you start building at 7-4, a 4-6, a 3-7, a 5-6. But you don't stay down for long. A 7-4 last year. I believe that was 2010. You shared a league title at the 7-4 season, and it really is a model of consistency. If you look around the programs in Kern County, Golden Valley's right there at the top.
Eric, if I remember properly, after that loss at South in the playoffs, you were very quick to say, seniors, we thank you for everything you do. For everybody else, 2015 starts now. If I remember, Tyler had, tears in his eyes. I think Andrew Dean was right there with him. How much did that loss, and how much were you guys ready to go for this season at that point?
Oh, they were. These guys were jumped up. You got a couple weeks before the Christmas break. And so our guys were like, can we get back in the weight room? We got to keep this thing moving. Let's get back to our off-season schedule. And we did. We kind of opened it up. We went back to 4 days a week instead of 3. And we were able to kind of get them motivated and get them going, and then sitting down with each player, trying to set the goals for the next year. And we really found out that, hey, these guys are kind of buying in. I said, now you're going to be young. And we have some seniors we're going to lean on. We're going to lean on, Ricardo, our lineman, and Tyler. Mm-hmm. But he knows he has supporting cast. He knows he has help. And Tyler jokes. He really is our handyman football player. I think he's going to kick off. He's out kicking everybody right now. We brought a couple soccer guys out. And
Why
he's out
wouldn't
kicking
you? Yeah.
them. And I'm sitting there going, well, I'm sure, of course you can do this.
The only problem with that, Eric, is that he's not going to be as mad after you score.
No, I know.
So maybe you won't get the touchbacks.
We've kind of warned him of that, and I said, we're still going to work on working out some other guys, just because you need a break, and so he enjoys it, and I think he understands it. And believe it or not, he got some buddies back from a freshman team. He had a very good freshman team 3 years ago. And there was a couple guys that came up grade short last year. And in the offseason, and they weren't out for football, and they kind of disappeared. And a couple of his guys comes back, Derek Walton, Robert Torres. These are pretty good players. And Tyler goes, I got them back. We're good. These guys, we got to get the rust off them, Coach. Get the rust off them. So it's been fun so far. And, camp's only been open for a couple weeks, but we're making some great strides real quick.
A good deal. It sounds like Golden Valley football program to watch in 2015. Coach Erich Smith, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
We appreciate you being here, and we'll be right back. We got 2 segments left. Chad Brown of Centennial, Darren Carr of Bakersfield Christian are next on the BVarsity Live Super Show.